Welcome, this is Diego Accord here in the Ramblings of a Bored Guy, and today I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should drive in Japan. Now, after my first trip, I started getting Japan travel planning groups in my feeds for Facebook and Reddit and stuff like that. Your phone's giving up all that data, and, I started seeing pictures and GPS and all that stuff. Said I had been to Japan, so I believe that's why that stuff started appearing. So I joined them because, I got to talk about stuff that was interesting, such as going to Japan and anything I could answer. However, one thing I noticed, regardless of where it's at, is that the driving is a very hotly debated topic, and it does seem like for some reason, there are people super vehemently against driving in Japan. There's some people that have, reasons. For me, I've gotta drive it. It's just how it is, period. But there's people that have other reasons, and the main cons that people say are gonna be the price of driving, price of gas, the tolls, and parking. So car, gas, tolls, parking. Those are expenses. Those aren't aside from parking, they're not any different than other expenses. Japan does have a different parking situation than I'm assuming most places do. So we're gonna go over that, the con, which is the parking. So, as you can see, as I'm driving along here, you'll see some parking spots off to the side or whatnot, and it is paid parking. Like anything out here on the street, you're not gonna be able to just park. There's a parking space over there to the right. There's one over here to the left that you see there. Those are individual spots, probably 2 or 3 in each of those places, and they are paid. Now, anytime you move a car, there's more parking over there. Anytime you move a car, you do have to pay for that parking privilege. There are a few places where you do not have to pay to park, such as a convenience, a restaurant, a store. They have their own parking lot. You will not have to pay to park there. In Tokyo, specifically, the average on parking is going to be 400, 800, 1600, and this is in yen. 400 is where it starts off, and then you stay there for a little longer. It becomes 800 yen, and then the maximum up to 24 hours is going to be 1600 yen. It can be more or less depending on where you go and what time of day. Because if you go somewhere that there's a lot of tourism, such as Akiba, it's gonna cost a lot more than that. Especially if you want to park right off of Chuodori. So, that is one of those things that is actually true that people say. However, you still have to take everything else that they say with a grain of salt, because if they're unwilling to drive, then they really don't know what the true pros and cons are. Which, of course, they won't say that there's any pros to driving when there are a lot more. So the parking is the real big con. Or it can be, because here's the thing: you don't have to get out, take the car somewhere every time that you go somewhere. You don't have to do that. And then if you think about the first day that you arrive, if you just get a car the first day that you arrive, you're gonna be saving money versus a lot of the suggestions that people have. So, when it comes to getting your stuff, the luggage to your room, there's these luggage transfer services that is very costly. And then of course, most people themselves, once they get off the plane, they want to go to their room directly. They don't want to get on the train. The same train that they praise about how good it is. They don't want to get on the train. They want to go directly to a room, and taxi's gonna cost about 100 USD to get from Haneda to central Tokyo, because most people, because they're not driving, they're also gonna be staying in the same area. So you're gonna, there's gonna be people in Asakusa, Ueno Park, Shinjuku. They're gonna be like the main places that you hear people, staying at. And then those are also the main places that are usually suggested when people ask about where to stay. And it's all for a reason, because of the location being convenient for stuff being around it, as well as a train station and so on and so forth. And when you drive, that's something that you don't have to worry about, which also comes in handy, because you search Airbnb or whatever for a place when you're not beholden to that situation. Get a better place for a cheaper amount of money. Now, as I was saying, your first day, you pay for luggage transfer, you pay for a cab, and then, you're still taking trains after that for the rest of that day, and you paid a couple hundred USD there, whereas you get a K car, or a van, a K van or something like that, $50-$60 per day, or something bigger, so it costs more. Gas, people say gas is expensive. It's gonna be probably cheaper than, most people that come to Japan that do a vacation that would have the ability to just drive are probably gonna be, US, UK, certain other areas of Europe, New Zealanders, Australians, and the gas to Japan's gonna be much cheaper than it is at your home. So gas is cheaper, so that's not a thing that is really a concern. They all say is a concern. So there's that. Google Maps. You can use Google Maps to turn off the tolls, because tolls are definitely a thing. You do not have to get on the highway to go somewhere. Now, it will take you a good while to get places. I mean, as you can see, even without this stuff going on right here, it would take a good while to get through Tokyo. Like, if a place is just a few kilometers, it does take longer than you would want it to take to get there. However, trains, you still gotta wait on the train to get there. The train is going to be on time. That's not gonna be a concern. That is one of the reasons why everybody says it's so great. The train is gonna be on time, but you still may have to go to another station. You still gotta walk. So, and for some reason, people do also seem to be allergic to walking. even though they don't want to just drive. Which is, a reason why they want to stay in a room, and everybody's like, what room is 2 to 3 minutes away from a train station? So would you not rather just have a car? That would be my question. So, there's that. Another pro would be when it comes to shopping. You have a car, and you're doing some shopping, you can get some big, nice bags from some electronics places or some clothes. You can just put that stuff in the car. You come out of a shop, put that stuff in the car and lock it up, and then continue with your shopping trip or whatever else you're doing, and it's out of sight, out of mind. Now, you do have the potential to lose something if you are, if you don't have a car. You do some shopping, you go to some other places, namely, you get on a train or you go somewhere to eat, you lay your stuff down. There's a potential for you to not pick something back up that you had. And, Japan, the thing about Japan is, it's known for people getting their things back if they lose it. You lose a phone, a nice new phone, on the train, and go to the nearest train station that you remember losing the phone at, and you get it back. You lose a wallet, you get it back, and it has the money in it, and that's all great. However, Japan is seeing an over-tourism problem right now, which means the person that finds your stuff is, especially if you are in a very touristy area, such as Akiba, the person that finds your stuff is probably not going to be Japanese, which means you're probably not going to get it back. The only way that you're going to get your stuff back is if, a Japanese finds it, or if a very try-hard tourist finds it. And in this situation, I'm not calling a try-hard tourist, that's not a bad thing, because that try-hard tourist is going to try to, fit more into, the Japanese ways of doing things, which also means that if they find something, they turn it in, and, unmolested. So no money taken out of my wallet, and so on and so forth. But with the way that things are going, the person is less likely to be Japanese or even one of the try-hard tourists. So it is, that is what it is. That is a situation that you would have to deal with. Another pro is, obviously, as I was saying earlier, you don't have to stay where everybody else is staying. You don't have to worry about that. And to reiterate the point, you can get a better place for cheaper if it's not somewhere that has to be 2 minutes from, one of the train stations. And also, the trains do not run all night long. They stop around 11 to 5 or 6 or something like that. So the last train you can get is going to be whatever the last train that goes before 11. So if there's a train that has a stop at, KN37 or something like that, or that's when it takes off, that's the last train that you're going to get. So, you go out somewhere at night, you don't have a car, you're too late for your train, you could end up taking, you could end up having to take a taxi. There is no Uber. There's the Uber app used in Japan, but the Uber app is not for ride sharing in Japan. The actual Uber app is to get taxis. And taxis are gonna cost a lot more than Uber, like a regular, American style Uber. Or, you can download that taxi that's in front of me, that Go Taxi, download that app, and, try to hail one of those. Or just, you can hail a cab. It's fine. So, but, that's also a lot more expense than if you just had the car, right? Taking a cab one time will cost more than everything that you would do with a car, unless that day is the day that you decide you want to go to Akiba and you want to park right off of Chuodori or something. And maybe that would be a bit of a problem, price-wise. So, the other thing that having a car lets you do is go to certain places whenever you want to, such as Fushimi Inari Taisha. That's a big one because everybody wants to go there right at the first train. And, there's pictures of it, like right now there's pictures on a Facebook group where the person got there at 6 something or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, it was fine then, and then 2 hours later we're on the way back now and it was packed. But you know what I did since I drove? I just went there at midnight, and there's literally 0 people around, 0 people in my pictures, and I'm happy with the pictures. I did the same thing for Osaka Castle. I went there in the evening. The actual going inside was closed, but the grounds are open. And, I wasn't interested in going inside because I'm sure that it's set up, has a bunch of exhibits and whatnot. And that's not the original castle anyway, so it's probably set up just as exhibits inside of the place, so I really don't care about going there, or about going inside of the castle. Which there was a funny, I had a pretty funny incident online about that, because that was one thing I've ever asked was when I was already in Osaka, like, can you go to Osaka Castle at night? Because, this was after, but I'd gone to Kyoto before Osaka, and, I'd gone to Fushimi at midnight, so I'm like, can I go to Osaka Castle, late, and, so I can get some pictures that don't have a ton of people? And then, somebody, I think it was in the Reddit group, the post got erased, they got deleted by mods, or something like that. And then I looked into the Discord of the same name, and somebody had mentioned that, and I said, I saw a post that said, oh, somebody wants to go to Osaka Castle at night and drink it, and there'd be some fucking crazy shit like that. And, I'm like, hey, I was the one that posted that. And literally what I wanted to know is if I can go to the grounds to take pictures when there are not a million people around. And then, I'm like, what are you even on about? How could somebody get that out of that? You people, you Japan freaks, there's just something wrong with you. People are like that about Japan. I don't know if other countries have such staunch defenders of all things related to that specific country. I haven't really looked in other places. But, Japan has some whacked out people that are, fans of it. And, you'll see that online, especially if there are people that live there, that foreigners that live there, they hate other foreigners being in Japan, especially ones that don't live there. Now, personally, I don't care. All I want is some pictures that don't have a bunch of other foreigners in them. And, I feel the same way about being in other people's pictures. I do not want to be in somebody else's picture. And I don't want you in my picture. But if I'm driving, I can just go to whatever the place is at night. And that's what I ended up doing. So, to get me help with that question about Osaka Castle, but I still went there in the evening after it was dark. The grounds were open, there were definitely people walking about, but not enough people to ruin a photo, or ruin photos. And I have some great photos of Osaka Castle there. I have one of them printed on canvas right next to me here, and that I took. So after I got back from Osaka Castle, I actually went in there and posted a picture. I was like, so this is what I'm talking about. I wanted a picture. I wanted to know if I could take pictures exactly like the one that I took. I'm like, thank you for nothing. And yeah, I just went off, and then some people were like, man, come on, do you really need to be like this about it? Point, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, but yeah, either way, the point was, I got to go to Osaka Castle when I wanted to. I got to go to Fushimi Inari when I wanted to, and any number of things that I just wanted to do, I could do. At night there's people that want to stay in certain places. An Evo. Yes, these two cars, the Evo and the WRX, they run away to Daikoku. Well, that's where I was on the way to on this trip, and I ended up seeing those cars there. But anyway, so a lot of pros with driving. Now, that there's different aspects that are gonna affect whether or not it even, that it actually makes sense for you. Like the length of time you're gonna be there. I was there for a month. I had the car the whole time. I'm just like, whatever. I don't really care. I came with, knowing that that's what I'm gonna spend. Like, I'm not gonna go somewhere I'm not gonna go anywhere if I have to worry about how much the stuff costs. However, I'm not stupid with the money. I'm not gonna just blindly spend money. I was still smart about it. I still got the best car. The car that made the most sense to get, which was the K-Van. Had plenty of space for a lot of stuff. So it was, it was good. I avoided tolls. Going from Osaka, or going from Tokyo to, Kyoto/Osaka, that is up there with tolls. Price-wise, that's kind of up there. But Google Maps will tell you how much that you should expect to be spending on tolls. So, overall, though, I would definitely recommend it. As long as you can get the international driver's permit, that's the one thing that you need. You need your license as well as international driving permit. You need both of those, and that's really it. And the international driving permit you get from AAA or your country's equivalent to AAA. And for the US, that's $20, and there's places that it's cheaper than that. So I would do it. I would definitely recommend doing it. You don't even need to rent the car every day. It might be a good idea to have a car the first day and maybe just the last day, because that last day you need to deal with your luggage. That can also be made a lot easier as well. So, what I did, so I was leaving at I think like 1 p.m. or something like that, the day that I left. And what I did was I drove out to Haneda, and I had everything packed up. I drove out to Haneda at like 2 in the morning. And I dropped off my luggage. There was a counter by the ANA on Nippon Airways, by their counter, or by their gates. There was a counter where you could have your luggage held for something. I don't remember what it's like, 700 yen or 1400 or something like that. I don't know why. I know it was like one of those two numbers. It was either 700 or 1400. But anyway, I took my stuff to the airport at like 2 in the morning, and then I spent my last night out. I drove back to Tokyo or whatever, went back to like Shinjuku, for the rest of that night until, what was it, like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I went back to the wing, went to sleep for a little bit, and then, I got up in time to take the car back to the rental place, which for me, where was that at? Sunshine City. So the Nissan rent-a-car in Ikebukuro, Sunshine City. Back, and then I hailed a cab directly to Haneda. Now it would have been nice if I had gotten my car from Haneda, because the first time I got my car from Nissan rent-a-car in Haneda. That would have been nice. However, due to availability and all that stuff, I ended up getting the car from Ikebukuro. So I did have to still get a cab from there to back to Haneda. But obviously, if you do it, you would want to get your car from Haneda or Narita, wherever you're gonna land or take off from. That's what you want to do. It'll save yourself a lot of trouble. So that's something, those are the main points that I've got. Like I said, driving itself is fine. Even if everything's the opposite of where you're at, like, I'm in the US, and you drive on the other side of the car, you drive on the other side of the road. I've had a right-hand drive car here in the US, so that's a combination that's like kind of the worst of all worlds, because you can't even see around you if you want past, and turns, like some turns are worse, and so on and so forth. So, but I'm a car person. You see on my channel, I've got the Mustang, I run Evo, and all that stuff, and, hopefully next time I go to Japan, well, there won't be any hopefully, the next time I go to Japan, I will have to have my Mustang with me. I do not want to rent a car, but that's also for a different video. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I just try to do something different by having the music going and this other stuff going on, as well as video of me actually driving, to make that a little more interesting. So yep. Comment, if you got any questions or whatnot, I'll be happy to answer those questions. And I think the next video that I make will possibly be about the plans. I don't remember if I've spoken about how I want to do the Mustang and all that stuff. Like, I do want to bring that here or there over to Japan. And I really don't want to go until I can do that, which is why I'm not going to go to Japan this year, because in order to take my Mustang there, my Evo has to be fixed. And this speed shop is taking their sweet time. building this motor. So I've gotta, it takes 3 months of fresh wait for the car to go over. So Evo has to be ready so I can have that to drive, like for fun. I'm at daily cars or whatever, but I gotta have a fun car to be able to take to car-related shit. And that would be, the Evo if the Mustang is in the water. So, yep. That'll be it for now. Bye until next time.